Okay, you just became PMP certified and you're wondering, how do I get a raise with this? What can I do to get a raise with my brand new, shiny PMP certification? In this video, I'm gonna give you guys a few tips that you can do. Let's get started. But before we get started, I wanna just point out something to you. No organization is gonna pay you if you don't get better. A certification without skills or improving yourself and that business will net you nothing. Listen, I own a business and I never want to give my employees a raise if they don't get better skills. I'll just keep their pay the same, or I'll just pay them whatever market rate is or general increases based on market conditions. But if you want that pay raise of 20%, 30%, 40%, you need to do a whole lot more. Right? If you want to double your pay, you need to show double the value. Employers, good ones anyhow, should pay you based on the value you bring to them. So if you bring $100,000 value, they'll pay you $100,000. Or if not, leave and find someone that will. If you bring them $10,000 worth of value, they'll pay you $10,000. And that's what this video is about. How can we use our certification to increase the value of ourselves and in turn increase the value to the employer, which hopefully will pay you for that? So let's get started. So the first thing up is you gotta ask yourself, what did I learn when I studied the certification? You learned of a whole bunch of, in predictive project management, you learn a whole bunch of documents, whether it was those project management plans, such as a change management plan or a scope management plan or all that type of stuff. You also learned about documents, all kinds of documents. Those are 33 different documents from stakeholder register, risk register, issue log, and all these 33 documents. Check out my study guide if you want to learn more about those. So you learned all about these documents. The question is, can you now put those documents in practice? You know, I really want to point out something to people is that I didn't create any of the content. I presented the content to you. Those documents and plans and whatever you learn came from Process Group Practice Guide, PMBOK Guide, and so on, which comes from the best practices of project management by really smart project managers that are much smarter than me. I'm just a guy that is really good at presenting stuff, I guess. So the things that I taught you, you have to learn to implement those documents. Let me ask you guys a question. A risk register, which is basically a listing of all the risks that can affect your project and their responses. Can you use that on a current project? Can you start using that on a current project? Can that help you organize the risks that you have on a current project? For God's sake, you should all have an issue log. Everybody should have an issue log on a project. If you don't have an issue log on a project, I don't know how you're keeping track of your issues. If you don't, implement that. So that's how you start to show value, by start implementing the things you learn. If you're on an agile project, are you being a good servant leader? Do you know the principles of servant leader? Are you keeping those stand-up meetings to 15 minutes? Are you an agile advocate? Are you doing those retrospectives and all those techniques that I showed you in the course for those retrospectives? Are you doing that? If not, start doing that. And this is how you start showing value. Just don't get your PMP certified, walk into the boss's office and says, hey boss, I want money because I'm certified. No, I want you to start implementing these things, and then I want you to go and ask your boss and say, hey boss, let's say her name is Jane. Hey Jane, I got PMP certified 2 months ago and I started implementing these things and I feel that, actually, you know what, don't say it. Say, and I increased the productivity of our project by this much. We have less issues, we're managing risks better, there's less stakeholder disengagement or stakeholder disagreements because I've done this and I've done this and I'm just getting started. And here are things that I want to implement in the future. Do you think I can get a raise? Do you think I can get more money since I'm increasing my productivity? Never, I don't personally believe this. Don't ask for a raise if you have nothing to back it up. Don't go into your boss's office and ask for a raise and say, well, I want a raise because I've been here for X amount of time. I want a raise because I'm certified. Well, what value did you bring? Let me tell you guys something. Every single time I ask for a raise, you better best bet it's gonna come with, because I'm gonna go to Bob and I'm gonna say, let's say Bob is a manager. Or you know what, we got Jane. We go to Jane. Hey Jane, I would like a raise, or I think I deserve a raise because of A, B, C. Because I've done this, and I've done this. Not what I got. Not because I got this and I got this certification. Screw that. I don't want that. What you're gonna say is, I increased this, I increased productivity here, I lowered expense here, increased revenue here. I'm showing my value to the organization. Why? And this is something you should keep a track of, because in an organization, you really don't know if they even realize your value. First of all, if you work in a company with thousands of employees, it's crazy hard for any employer to keep track of what value these people are providing. And maybe that's something you should start doing. That way, you can go to the employer and show your value. You can go to the employer and show, documented, hey, I decreased the expenses of this project. I made this project finish 20% sooner because I implemented these things. This project went under budget by 20% because of this thing I implemented, because of this and because of this. And I'm just getting started. On my next project, I'm gonna decrease it even more. I'm gonna increase the project speed. I'm gonna get this done quicker because of this and because of this. Where did you learn all this? You learned it. I want to tell you it came from me, but it didn't. I just presented it. It came from the great word of all the great PMI materials that you got from your certification. So this was a question that came to me in a LinkedIn email. And this is a video to answer that. So if you're the one asking this question, here's your video response. And you know, this question came to me in the email, and I said, well, all you got to do, I'm thinking, oh, this person just has to increase the value. And I came up with a good system. Here's what I want you guys to do. Now, this is gonna sound crazy, and you may not like the answer, but here's what I want you guys to do. Rewatch my class. You're already PMP certified. I know, you're already certified. I don't wanna watch that again, Andrew. Okay, either you can rewatch my course. Maybe I'm not that good looking, all right? You don't wanna watch my face all the time. What you should do then is at least start going through the PMI materials. Start going through the Process Group Practice Guide, Agile Practice Guide. Start going through PMBOK Guide 7th edition and all this good stuff. And start reading it, not from a perspective of, okay, what do I need to know from exam, but how can I apply that to my job? And then look around on the internet. You don't know how to stakeholder management? Start Googling it, right? Ask ChatGPT, ask somebody else. Join me on a live stream. Ask me, I'm there all the time. And start coming up with ways to implement it. So my recommendation is to go back to the courseware. Again, use Minds or use PMI stuff, and just study it to become a better project manager, right? Study it. I know the last time you studying it, you were really concentrating on passing your test, but now you're studying it to actually become a better project manager. So to sum it all up, how to use your PMP to become certified, to become a better paying project manager? Show value. Start implementing the things and become better. That's what you're doing in this game. Start implementing those templates, those documents, those plans, those ceremonies in Agile. Start combining them in Agile project. And I guarantee you, the more value you show that business, the faster you're gonna get a raise. And the faster you're gonna buy that Ferrari or Lamborghini that you were looking for. Guys, if you enjoyed this video or got value from it, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.